Welcome to an interview with Dr. Kathy White. This interview is part of the NYU Oral History Project, which is dedicated to honoring the numerous contributions, both personal and professional, of our senior faculty. I am Maria Lechich, and I've had the wonderful opportunity to serve on the EC with Dr. White, and I've also collaborated with her on some racial literacy efforts at Postdoc. It's a great privilege to meet with you today, Kathy, and I want to thank you for your willingness to be interviewed.
My pleasure.
Okay, so one place to start is for us to learn a little bit about your early life. Where did you grow up? What would you care to share with us about that?
Well, I grew up in Chicago
Mm-hmm.
and lived on the south side of Chicago and right across the street from the park that had a tennis court. So what just came to my mind is that part of my little girl stuff was that I played, I forget what you call it, ball girl, I think, for my father who taught tennis. So there I
Oh,
was with my little tutu,
yeah?
and I'd run around and get the ball and carry on. And that's sort of also a part of my growing up, is my mother made all my clothes, right?
She did. Wow.
She was quite a seamstress, and she made all of our clothes actually, and worked a full-time job and cooked and the whole slave um, gene in her. So I could do it all.
How many children did she have? How many were you?
We were two.
Two.
She comes from a family of children of 17.
Wow.
Yeah. And so she's smack in the middle someplace,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which meant that she didn't have to raise more than three or four. But, the folks that were older had all of them too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, so that's part of what went on for me.
Huh?
I was raised Catholic, so I went to Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
And in Chicago, uh, the wind and the cold are serious factors to deal with. And so as a little kid,
Mm-hmm.
wrap my whole face up in something because your nose would freeze. So, it's
Wow.
very cold, very,
Uh-huh.
very cold.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, I think we read a little bit about your experience in kindergarten in Chicago in your paper on hate.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, that really caught my attention. Very painful experience.
very
Mhm.
painful. And, still shows up in my way of being now. It's like, so I'll tell you the story, then I'll tell you how it's working now.
Please. Yeah.
So the
Could you say a little bit about the experience in kindergarten for
yeah,
those who may not, yeah, be familiar? Hmm.
I will do it. So this is the first day of kindergarten. And a little old nun, she's very little, very petite, very, proper, very white,
Hmm.
says, "Welcome, children. So we're going to start to read today. So how many of you in here could read?" Of course, I got my hand right up because my sister, who was 10 years older than me, had taught me how to read Heidi in the bed, flashlight. And those were like super wonderful memories of her and I. Uh, anyway, so I raised my hand and she said, "Oh, put your hand down. That's what's wrong with you, Black people, colored people. You lie." So I went home and I told my mother that sister said I lied. And my mother said, "Lied about what?" I said I could read. My mother said, "Well, you could read." So um, the family was so outdone. They had a little powwow in the kitchen. What we're going to do? Well, my mother was going to go there and talk to the sister, period. And she did. She was like in a rage like my mother could get. And I have her
Mm-hmm.
Jean. Uh, she was such a rage. So I couldn't go, of course, because she was going to have words with the sister. So anyway, she came back and told us, and the sister had cried and hadn't apologized, but cried.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what I make of it, and I think I wrote it this way in the paper, I made it up for myself recently that this was a young woman whose authority had been challenged.
Yeah.
She was going to teach us, and I'm saying, I can already do what you're going to teach us. So, the assault on her and also her spiritual goodness is going to give us something we don't have. Oh, God. So it was very painful, still painful. And this is how it shows up now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I have a way of reading, an array of reading like my sister taught me to read, and a way that the nun taught me to read. And unfortunately, the nun's way interferes with my professional work, whereas uh, everything else comes out like my sister's work. Her influence is much more sort of a spontaneous way of taking in information. It's like, oh, isn't that nice? Oh, I like that. Oh, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sister's way was see, spot, run.
Mm-hmm.
So it had no liveliness, emotionality, all the things that are part
Yeah.
of, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I feel that she crushed a part of me that could have flourished, which is through writing. Because, I don't write enough. And
Mm-hmm.
I hear about that all the time. Why aren't you writing? Why aren't you writing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
because I get traumatized. I sit down and I just
Yeah.
start to sweat,
Yeah.
get short of breath. I mean, really, it's
It lives inside of you. Yeah. Yeah.
it takes
I'm
a lot.
very amazed by your mother's she advocated for you, that she took it seriously and she got herself over to the school to confront the nun. Was that her way with you? We,
Well, if it affected her. So her
Mm.
child, who said she could read, is
Mhm.
being told that you're a liar. That affects her.
I see.
He raised a child who doesn't have any morals or something. Like, so yes. But
Got it. Yeah.
otherwise, my mother's very, 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 oh, she died but some years ago. She was a very, very smart woman
Hmm.
who got pregnant when she was in her senior year of high school,
Hmm.
and so therefore didn't get to go to college because in a family of that size, 17 people, um, there was no such thing as you didn't raise your own. I mean, you had to raise your kid
Hmm. Hmm.
to be around for I mean, that's so inbred in her, even though her mother probably gave up raising the kids by the time she had the 10th.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the older siblings helped, jumped in and helped, made it happen. Yeah. Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
So anyway,
Yeah.
it's a painful implant.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm the reason I'm doing the work with the chocolate salon right now is because I think everybody's implanted with stuff that's not themselves. And that if we talk about it and say, me too, that container of um, recognition and
Hmm.
acceptance might do something to, help us out. And that is true for me. Um,
It
that
could be healing, like healing or transformative. Yeah.
healing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think let's see, before I was 80, probably, I wouldn't admit this out loud.
Hmm.
I couldn't, I couldn't sit down and have a talk. I could write it in a paper, but I couldn't, you know, talk about it.
How come, Kathy? Just make that more explicit. Because why? Before you were 80? Wouldn't have been possible, you're saying.
Um, this borders on another thought I'm having about why Black people don't talk to each other
Mhm.
much. You know, it's like you walk on the street, you see a Black person, you put your eyes down. You don't say hi.
Mhm.
um, you don't do recognition because I think there is too much shame having come down the 400 years about having been detritus, having
Mhm.
been nothing, having had no agency, all that stuff, I think is still in us. I don't want to look at you because I know your story and you're going to know my story and it's so bad. That's what I think.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
right. So I
Mhm.
forget the question we were on.
Just, talking about this, you said wouldn't have been possible before you were 80, and that something shifted for you after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that when you started the chocolate salon?
Around in there. That's when I was
Around there.
uh,
Yeah.
thoughts about it. Actually, with COVID, that
Mhm.
really helped me through the thinking phase because I had so much time to myself. The
Mhm.
first time in a very long time. All the traveling was put to
Mhm.
rest. I didn't do any of that stuff that I was doing so intensely before.
Yep.
Um,
Mhm.
Having had the space, I realized that boy, having space is wonderful.
Mhm.
I can think,
Create.
I can create.
Mhm. Yep.
And
Yep.
so not everybody's going to get 2.5 years of uninterrupted space.
Mhm.
So I'm on the quest of, well, whatever else would happen to help people dislodge the projections. And so it's like an ongoing study,
Mhm.
Alon. And I must say it's helpful for the and helpful for me because I have to ask questions. I have to formulate thoughts that get into the stuff that's painful for me.
Mhm. Mhm. So let's go back to kindergarten. How did you get into psychology and psychoanalysis? What was that journey like?
um, well, truly like a big family. When I got ready to go to college,
Mhm.
um, my aunties got together to decide where I should go, where I should live.
Oh.
Um, and so we picked University of Detroit because it's Jesuit. And
Mhm.
I was, I'll tell you another story in a minute. I wanted to be a Jesuit when I was a little kid, and my poor father had to tell me why I couldn't be a Jesuit.
Because you're a girl.
I'm a girl. Oh my God. What a come down,
I know.
that was, and why it was my father that I went to say all that, must be that I think my mother couldn't have faced it herself. Um, anyway, I went to University of Detroit, lived with my aunt Evelyn,
Mhm.
and her daughter, Dolores,
Mhm.
was having a child out of wedlock. So Evelyn made a pact with me that yes, I could live there, and my parents did not have to worry about money and all that kind of thing, because in
Mhm.
exchange, I would take care of the baby.
Ooh.
And, I didn't love the idea until I loved this baby. This baby was like, now,
And what's this baby's name?
Mary Beth,
Mary Beth. Mhm.
who is now in her 60s.
Mm. How did that
Can you
happen?
imagine a
No.
60-year-old person?
Oh.
So, and I had to also get some work. So the job that I applied for was being a social work assistant in a mental hospital. So I fell in love with
Mm.
everybody did. So there were psychiatrists and social workers and psychologists and just all kind of people. And I admired them. I loved the way they talked. I sort of caught on.
Mhm.
And my job was to interview parents um, when their child was being worked up. And so it's a kind of holding for them, but it's also, you could learn something that people might be able to use in their treatment or in their decision about hospitalization.
Mhm.
Uh, and I just loved it. I had a knack for connecting
Mhm.
with people. Um, you fast forward when I was getting um, the second year of my master's degree, I went back to the Jacobi Hospital where I had trained. Um,
In Chicago?
no,
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 sorry.
Detroit,
Fast forward, that's New York.
New York. Oh,
Um,
Jacoby, yeah, in the Bronx.
in the
Yep.
Bronx, right?
Hmm.
Um, so that first interest led me to go to social work school,
Hmm.
and social work school had a program of training where you went and worked for half a year, 2 years, half a year, three-quarters of a year, in a place where you could be with the social workers and you could do social work. And so both my placement both years was in Jacobi. And I was in the Department of Psychiatry, and the guy who was head of psychiatry, Rosenbaum, had this idea that everybody who was in the department had to know everybody else's job. And so you got paired up to work. So fast forward, I was paired up with the emergency room take guy. And my job was to, you know, bring people into the hospital or send them home. Whoa. So
That's quite a intense environment to be in, the ER in Jacoby. Wow.
so
City
intense,
hospital. Yeah.
so delicious. And I was nervous all the time, but I was learning all the time. It's like, oh, I can't learn another thing. I have to go home. No,
Ah.
no, you can't go home. This is your job. You have to
Mhm.
see the next patients.
Wow.
So I think all of my moxie as
Mm.
a uh, person in this field comes from, learning from hard knocks in the emergency room.
Such
Well,
a fast-paced
very,
environment, right? Yeah, you have to think fast.
very fast. And so while I was there with a person who was able to supervise me, that wasn't the job. The job was to let me do as much as I could.
Hmm.
And make decisions and live with them because that's what they had to do, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Anyway, that began my odyssey from social work to getting a PhD at NYU, which led me to postdoc.
Postdoc. How did you pick postdoc?
Well, it was NYU, and so it's sort of my intellectual home. And Bernie Kalinkowitz was,
Hmm.
my guy,
Hmm.
and he sort of said that would be great. Go for it.
Wonderful.
So
Hmm.
I applied and got
Hmm.
chosen, and
Hmm.
I was there for 5 years in that role of student,
Hmm.
and I must have taken 4 courses. I was having a problem with Ruth,
Oh. Hmm.
and the problem was that I was already in practice. I was a social worker,
You
and
had a license, right?
yeah, I had a license, and I was working with somebody who I thought would be a great analytic case. And Ruth essentially said, "No, I don't want you to do that." Well, why? Because I don't want you to do it. I don't know why. I don't know today what was in her craw that
Hmm.
was so difficult. She was so difficult. So finally I said, I'm not getting a lot of coursework and I can't get training as an analyst. I'm out of here. So I left and went to the
What
White.
years was this, Kathy? Like the 70s, 80s?
Hold on, I've got it right here
Yeah.
today. Um, so I got my PhD in 76. So
Mhm.
this is a postdoc is 77.
Okay. Hmm.
And
So you left. You decided it wasn't right for you. Huh?
no,
Yep. Okay.
and I'll tell you, it was about the pace.
Mm-hmm.
And not so much the pace, but the sort of take anything you want, oh, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted a little more structure, so I went to the White Institute, which was much more structured.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I graduated the White in 84.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was then, that's when Spiros asked me if I would supervise. Never did a lick of supervision. I wasn't asked.
You weren't asked. Mm.
And these days, it's like, oh, you wouldn't not ask a Black PhD person who is an NYU person in the first place. Oh, that would be a person you'd take right away. So things have changed a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I didn't get quite back into a postdoc until, well, 5 years. Oh, when Spiros first came on.
Kathy, when you say things have changed a bit, can you just elaborate on that a little more? From 84 to when Spiro came on, and I think he became program director in 2019. So it's many years later.
Oh,
Yeah, he was clinic director. Maybe that's what he was clinic director for 15 years. So like 2004, I think he became clinic director. So I think you're saying it was at that time that he wanted you to supervise. What do you think changed? Why do you think candidates were more inclined years later to ask you to supervise?
no one has ever asked me to supervise. And I'm making it feels to me like it's the same old racial, not discrimination so much, but it's like I was not a valued object.
Mm,
And people want supervisors that make them feel like, whatever. Uh,
mm,
um, you get status out of who your supervisor is.
mm-hmm,
And so I wasn't considered, I think, a high status enough person.
mm-hmm,
Uh, that's what I think.
mm-hmm,
I don't know that to be true in the least. Uh,
mm-hmm,
but that's my sort of the stuff I'm trying to get out of myself, which is uh, feeling not valuable because somebody else doesn't think I'm valuable. It's like, no, you're valuable, girl. You don't have to have that reinforced. You get that out of your own experience.
mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, one of the things I did want to ask you about is race in psychoanalysis, at postdoc. I'd really love to hear your thoughts about that, if you are comfortable sharing.
so uh, I'm proud of postdoc for being where it is right now, which is it's taken in that there are racial issues,
Yeah.
taken in that there are othering issues. They've taken in that the major differences can be contentious, like the Palestinian folks and the Israeli folks. Um, and, in my consulting around town, around psychoanalytic institutes
Mm-hmm.
that get in touch with me to help them work on their commitment to racial equity and all like that, so they can attract more uh, candidates of color, et cetera. Um, I realize that psychoanalysis is uh, not conducive to the kind of work that has to be done to help people who are different, not set up that way. It's so that I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Uh, in order for me to really work intelligently and empathically and be present, I had to ignore all the, don't do this, don't do that, don't speak, don't, be a screen. Um,
The rules.
I had to toss the rules.
Yeah.
And so I think people are readier now to even consider tossing the rules in order to be uh, available to various kinds of people. I think it's not such a sin anymore to toss the rules. Oh, let me tell you this one little story.
Yeah.
Um, in one of the places I was doing work, this was a senior group of people. I had a guy who agreed to give a case,
Mhm.
a vignette, it's like 3 minutes if you can do it. So he says he heard his patient knock on the door, and then he heard a kind of, like he was leaning on the door, kind of slight bump. And he opened the door and he said to the guy who was looking terrible, "What's wrong?" And you know how you go to the door, then you sort of walk slightly in front of the person while you get into your chair. So he didn't do that. He walked side by side with the guy, and he just felt um, worried. That's what he was. He was worried because the guy is not, depressive. So anyway, he sat down, and the
Mhm.
patient went on the couch, and he said to the patient, "Has something happened?" And the patient start to weep, big, big tears and big emotion, that his father had died the night before.
Mm.
And the father is a good figure in the guy's life. So it touched the analyst in such a way that he felt that he had to go sit on the edge of the couch and put his arm around the guy's shoulders.
I see.
And the guy put his head down in that place there and cried harder. And the analyst put his head on top of the patient's head. So that's a sort of uh, thing that you would never tell your supervisor, you know.
Yeah, because touching is a no-no.
No, 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 right?
Mhm.
In this class, this is like maybe 2 years ago, so everybody's a little more sophisticated. And in this class, the weeping that came up out of people because he was, first of all, told so beautifully, um, made me realize that so the way we have been
Uh-huh.
as analysts has kept us away from our deepest emotions,
Yeah.
not allowed to express them. So
Yeah.
have them. So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
uh
Were you connecting these rules and regulations to race?
was, yes, that's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Um
Mhm.
my analyst
Mhm.
and I never talked about race. 8 years, 5 times a week. So there's some taboo even
Mhm.
working back in those days that race just was not worth anything. And it's like everybody has race, so why bother? And racial trauma, I think, was not even thought of as trauma. Because, we're people who are supposed to be okay with having pain, right?
Yeah.
People have had so much pain, you're okay with pain, right? So I never, ever, ever had an analytic eye on my racial self, except
Mhm.
I was working for Ted Jacobs at Jacoby, and he caught on to the fact that I was depressed. And he sent me to Marianne Chris, who said in the only interview we had that, you know, um, something like your being Black is, at the bottom of everything. So
Was that like a first for you, for someone to acknowledge right? Yeah. Wow. One
even though
interview, one interview. Co-
you talk about an interview, it was
Wow.
super to the point, to the
Yeah.
to the pain point.
Yeah.
And of course, and then she said, you know, you can't afford me. I know you'd like to come back. Oh, I did. I wanted to work with her so badly. But of course, I couldn't afford her. So she sent me over to New York Psychoanalytic for their clinic, right? So
So
that
you worked with a candidate? Yeah. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And this guy turned out to be um, head of psychiatry at Columbia. He died.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
It isn't that he didn't have like the stuff. He didn't have the permission.
Yeah.
Now that's painful for me to say because had he had the permission,
Yeah.
um, what I think I might have been able to work through is this business about, I can't write. Because that is a dynamic of some sort, right? It's not just a fault.
But when you wrote, like I didn't know you when I read your paper on hate, and it had such a profound effect on me. I thought, oh my God, what you're raising was new, to me at least, the topic of hatred and aggression in that in the way you present it. But the writing itself was very beautiful to me. So I just assumed, Kathy, that you have no issues around writing, that you're just effortlessly writing one paper after the next. And today you're saying no. Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
The fear that gets me to sweating is that I don't really have anything to say. What am I doing writing? The other fear is um, I'm not as good as, uh, not even good as my elder Black analysts. Certainly not as good as white folks. Those feelings then depress me, and it's like, well, it's too hard. Why should I do this to myself? I have other things to do, right? So
Mhm.
let me get out of this chair and go do what I do.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to a question. You've done so much in your career and a lot for postdoc. What would you say you're most happy with? The kind of, I don't know if you want to use the word proud of, but the thing you feel the best about.
Oh, my chocolate salon. What else? Oh, it's so wonderful. It's
Can you just go into it a little more? I don't know much about it. And you already said some, but tell us about it.
yeah. Well, um, as I said, I came out of COVID knowing that uh, the isolation had disrupted
Mhm.
some of the bad interjects. And I said, well, if it could do it, if it could happen just from isolation, what else could happen? What else could be used? Because I'm convinced that it can be disrupted. Because on the other side of it, I am a lot less hateful and um, intense around people who are about to be mad at me because I'm Black. And, so that's a lot of projection stuff. I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah.
But, that's sort of hyper vigilant.
Mm.
I know it's going to happen. Just it's completely gone,
Mhm.
completely gone.
Wonderful.
So it means that something got disrupted. And
Mhm.
I want to find out what else will work
Mhm.
because I am convinced
Mhm.
that let me just see how I feel. Here's how I feel about it, that we have been swallowing garbage about ourselves for 400 years, and we have to figure out how to get rid of it,
Yes.
get the garbage up and out.
Mhm.
Uh, because otherwise we're not being our completely full selves and, not contributing as much as we might to like the world issues.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so we get stuck in thinking about Black and white issues, racial issues, because it's like until we can like pull away from that,
Mhm.
because we have resolved some of the, implants, we won't be able to join in the larger community. So, I have this feeling that part of the problem is that Black people have never been taken into the social contract, like Irish people did, and uh, other people who have come, and now it's going to be Asians who will get into the social contract. We will never, because of the shame that's involved with what slavery was, and is,
Mhm.
because all the structures, you think about all the structures have the uh, organization of plantations.
Mm.
Think about Rikers as an example. It's like those folks are enslaved, and that's like a very large example. They are actually incarcerated. They're there, nothing to do but to do their time. If you apply that to like 400 years of uh, being out of favor, out of uh, currency,
Mhm.
not having agency, 400 years of that uh, is punishing, but it's not like the self-definition. It's like it's punishing, and here's how it shows, and there's more to me than that.
Mhm.
So when I'm thinking about writing, and I'm on this side of it, like I can do this, I need to do this. I think about that, right? It's like that I feel like I can't write is an implant to
Yeah.
write.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
the nun said, put your hand down, you liar.
Just, yeah, just like that. Hmm. You
So if
can't
I
do
don't
it.
put my hand up, somebody's going to call me a bad name or
Mhm.
break my hand off, or, I'll be in jeopardy,
Mhm.
emotional, psychological jeopardy, and maybe physical jeopardy as well. If I were a boy, it would be
Mhm.
physical as well, right? But I must say, uh, it's only recently that I don't like get a chill when I see cops coming toward me. So it's not only the guys who like feel they have to be careful. I also feel I have to be careful. Did I don't feel that now, right? But a lot of times it was, oh my God, here comes a cop. As if I would put up my hand and I don't know, shoot somebody or something. It's the same operation.
Nothing's changed, you're saying.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Kathy, as you're talking, I'm thinking about our current candidates, that they're just starting their journey. Given all you've said about race and difference, is there anything you would like to comment on as they kind of pursue this professional journey?
Well, I feel so strongly that
Yeah.
um, the only place they're going to get their particulars noticed, talked about, understood is with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, in addition to all the other wonderful things that are available, I think um, identity groups would be great. And that helps with all the identities that are now like shaken up and angry and want to attack each other. Well, it's because they're not getting their particular issues massaged and thought about. And the only people who can do it is them.
And so who would make up the identity group? Who would be in that group?
The one I'm talking about would be all people who identify as Black.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I understood. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It would include non-African Americans, of course.
Uh-huh.
It just depends on the person's identification.
Mm.
And so it's so funny, a white guy applied to the chocolate salon and he said, this is in our first year, he said, all people come from Black people. All of us stem from the same original people. And so even though I am Israeli, I think I should be in that salon. So it was, it's a compelling argument only if you're in some debate. Wasn't compelling in terms of the salon. Not, no, honey, can't do it. I appreciate your attempt. uh,
Mhm. Mhm.
well, every year we get several white people who want to join. And it's because what we have trained ourselves into thinking is that at some point we should, you know, coalesce.
Mhm.
And my thought is, well, we can't coalesce until we know who we are, right? And so
Right.
advocating white people to have white groups as
Mhm.
well. And, there is Christine Schmidt, well, of course, she worked with
Yeah,
us.
I was in that process group.
Yeah,
Yeah, with you.
she is excellent at being able to hold on to her white identity while she's helping people struggle with their white identity. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so yes, I do think giving all the people who consider themselves different from the norm, so that would be everybody but white people, right? And
Yeah.
that being able to account for themselves uh, in particular ways. Like so
Mhm.
they can laugh at their jokes and they can cry with each other about things and they can see things in the paper that the rest of us don't see because we're not them. Uh,
Yeah. So really, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that the chocolate salon project should be expanded and there should be more than one group, you know.
yes, indeed. And
Yeah.
what's happening, uh, somebody in our first class said, is it okay if I start a chocolate salon? I said, of course.
Or yeah. Yeah.
That's the
But
whole
you need
idea.
a facilitator, don't you?
Well, she's
You would do it. Yeah. Wonderful.
she
Great.
saw us do it. It's not a big deal what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holding space, that's all we're doing.
Kathy, I want to just, we're going to end in a few minutes. I wonder if you could just say a few words about your experience at Postdoc. And you've been with us since the early 80s. You left, you came back. Do you want to,
I left in a huff
you left in a huff.
and I came back because I was invited back. So
Mhm.
it's something like if Ruth couldn't like individuate me, let me add,
That's great. That's a great word. Mhm.
then I'm gone.
Mhm.
But having already brought myself along pretty far, it's I can I had to leave the White Institute also. Uh, I graduated the White, then I was a co-director of the organization program, 20 years. And the guff we got from administration, the
Uh-huh.
hatred we got from people who thought that we were, I don't know, bastardizing psychoanalysis by trying to apply it to work. I mean, it was just hate, hate, hate. You people,
Mm.
you people are nasty. You have food all over the floor. It's like, oh, it's like, oh, God.
So
So
you were out of there.
I get out and I just disappeared for about 20 years. I'm just back
Wow. Mhm.
and I come back a heroine. Isn't that amazing? Something has happened in people's minds about who I am. And
Mhm.
I have become idealized, rarefied, all that stuff. It's amazing.
But how is that for you, given how you were treated initially?
it's makes me furious.
Mhm.
And so I discourage it furiously.
Mhm.
But you know, it's taken a life of its own, and the students, the candidates who are just coming on are like,
You know, you hate that.
I hate that.
I know. I'm not laughing. I am laughing, but I get a kick out of your facial expression.
Yeah, I hate it. But I'll tell you something. It also, that sort of like get away, don't give me all that idealization thing. It has kept me from being a mentor for many years, right? People are wanting to have me work with them, et cetera, et cetera. And I kept saying, look, I'm busy. You know, that wasn't true. What it was I couldn't stand the idea
Mhm.
of coming to me because they think I'm something.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I got over that because I hurt a person's feelings so badly that I thought, well, maybe I'm acting out, you know.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
And what would I be acting out? I don't want anybody to get too close to me because if I raise my hand and say something to them they don't like, they're gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
mad. And
Yeah.
I'm sort of
Oh, Kathy, right. Mhm.
fluid with my um, street sense. I do say things that can be misunderstood actually because the person isn't black, so they don't get like whatever it is I'm saying is coming out of my street sense. Um,
Mhm. No, but that really helps me to see how that nun's gesture toward you lives on and makes itself known here and there. The great thing is that you know when it's in play, it sounds like, or at least you're open to knowing.
Open to knowing, and since I've told it to people now, uh, my friends can give me feedback.
Yeah, that's
Say,
great.
I'm not telling you to put your hand down, honey. I'm just talking to you about
At
what.
the risk of idealizing you, I try to tell you how much affection I have for you and how
Mm.
much I appreciate what you've given Postdoc and me personally. I am a fan. I know you have faults. You're not perfect, but I am crazy about you.
Oh, wonderful. And
Okay,
the feeling
I
is,
said it.
I'm so happy that you said it. It feels great. Because
Okay.
with you, it feels genuine. It's based on experience together.
Well, we've had a lot together
Yeah,
these
we've done a
last
lot.
3 years, 4 years,
Yeah.
6 years, actually, because I came in when Spiro came in as program director. I became clinic director, and we're stepping down at the same time.
Oh,
It's been 6 years.
very 6 years.
Yeah, we're jumping ship.
I'm so happy you are because you take your role so seriously
Yeah, I
that
do.
the toll on you must be immense. Not only that, but it's like highway robbery. But they,
Well, you've been a great resource to me. You may not realize it, but now I said it and it's being recorded. So anyway, is there anything else you'd like to share today?
they,
Yeah.
um, I think yes, I think there is something I want to.
Okay.
It's like since my come to Jesus experience over COVID,
Hmm.
I experienced happiness.
Oh,
I am a happy person. I am, and it's like happy. Who's ever been happy before? But I do feel myself lighter, and not so wrapped up in who's going to attack me next. Um,
mhm.
and it has made for happiness.
But Kathy, since I've become very interested in aging, I'm learning that many people feel that life is easier and they're happier because they're getting older and they care less what people think. But are you saying that your being happier is linked directly to getting older, or is there more to it in your mind?
It's directly related to my resolving. my white identity.
Okay.
I am, I work at that very hard, very strenuously. Uh,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty good, I'm pretty much myself for real.
Mhm.
I don't put on all those white airs I used to put on.
Mhm.
It's like um, being so worried about not being accepted. I have, I don't know, warped my brain into emulating white people,
Mhm. Mhm.
emulating.
So that's out.
Gone. Mask is off.
Great. Mhm.
Um, that's part of the happiness too, right? I don't have to do all that work
Yep. Mhm.
make sure that I'm looking proper for somebody or another. Oh God.
Yeah, who needs it?
Right. The other thing I think I want to say, this is a psychoanalytic
Yeah.
experience, which is that around 20 2000, around 20 in 2021, um, I had to stop being an analyst. I was overwhelmed with what I was carrying. So I had not learned then that, you don't have to carry it. And if you were carrying it, what kind of work were you doing?
Wow.
So I had to pull back. And so I pulled back into organizational work, which is so
Mhm.
different in terms of what's going on inside. So I haven't resolved that. Did I flee
I
uh,
see.
from being an analyst?
Mhm.
Uh, well, so just to put this in another kind of context,
Yeah.
um, I think psychoanalysis, the work of psychoanalysis, helped me develop a self
Mhm.
because it's measured work. You're with a person relating to a person, um, and you can be honest with yourself about things inside. So all of those things I hadn't had an opportunity to do. Looks like you're done talking, so we'll lower your hand in 2 seconds. Is my hand up? Oh, it is.
Every when you do this, it tells me your hand is up, like you want to say something, but you already are.
Already talking hand. Anyway, it's a part of the legacy of not being all that clear with myself about something.
Mhm.
And so I have a therapist I go to,
Uh-huh.
uh, still trying to work on stuff so I can get clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. But leaving the work of psychoanalysis was a decision,
Uh-huh.
20, 2000 and, 2021.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I often ask people, so when are you going to stop? Stop. I used to have that feeling also. I'm going to die in my chair.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's it. I'm committed. I'd rather die in the street
Mhm. Mhm.
in some, I was going to say, in some march, because people have been,
Oh, yeah.
and,
Mhm.
I think the only way we're going to manage this current cycle is to be citizens for real, do everything one can do civilly.
Like to really show up.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, you know what I sitting here feeling the potential for significant growth as we get older and older. Like it doesn't stop in our 50s, like big things can happen in our 80s, That's my takeaway today.
Uh, who ever heard of an 84-year-old person opening a program? Like what?
Right.
I
That
shook myself. It's like, my God, girl.
wonderful. Just great.
Thank you, sweetheart. I'm so glad you.
Okay, so we'll end here. Thank you so much for your honesty and openness and, you know, keep
Yeah,
going. You got a lot to say.
thank you, honey. It was good having this conversation too, right up my alley.